the day. We're going to spice things up slightly. Okay, who here is ready to watch some pictures? Right, some, great. Okay, so basically a couple of months ago, and we started to receive the different applications, literally roughly about 200 different applications from 200 startups with their big idea to join us here on stage, to get selected to join us here on stage here at Shift 2015. We managed to find 24 of those 200, and they've been invited here for the conference, and they're about to show you their big idea. This is how it's going to work. Okay, so the first six will present in this session. This afternoon we have another 6. Tomorrow morning the next 6, and actually the final 6 tomorrow afternoon, and then we will announce the winners after that. Okay, so what's at stake? What are they going to win? Basically, in third place, for the third place winner of the Startup Challenge, they win themselves $2,000. $2,000. Doesn't that sound good? It does sound good. It does sound good. If I were to give you now $2,000, I'm sure you'd be happy. Yes, you would. Most of you. Second place, $3,000. When I say the money's going up, but the claps are going down. I don't know why. And first place, yes, you guessed it, $10,000. It's great. It's like all the smiles, lots of smiles when I start to talk money. Then the smiles come up. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. Each startup on stage will have 3 minutes, up to 3 minutes each. Okay, remember they don't have to use that 3 minutes. In fact, many of the great pitches are certainly less than 3 minutes. So up to 3 minutes each, and then our jury, which I'll present to you very shortly, they will have up to 3 minutes for questions and answers. Questions they'd like to pose to the startups, to the idea, and maybe delve into the idea a little bit more and see more about the idea itself. Also, I encourage all of you, if again those of you on Twitter, #ShiftSplit, let's hear what you think. Okay, put your ideas down, what you think, comments. If you like what you hear, pop it down on Twitter. Okay, I'll now invite to the stage the 4 members of the jury. Okay, that'll be joining us on stage to give their comments and views. So number 1, first of all, is again like to welcome back on stage Andrea Baritza from 500 Startups. Great. Also, a lady called Amy Cosper, with us last year, back with us again from Entrepreneur Magazine. A gentleman from Union Square Ventures, Mr. Nick Grossman. Nick Grossman. And guess what? The rock star is back. He's back again. The one, the only Mr. Mike Butcher. Please don't kick the chair. Sit down on the chair. Don't kick it. Okay. So, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, remember also, coming on stage, some of the startups here have done this before many times. Some of them have done it just a few times, and I'm sure out of the 6, out of the whole 24 that we have, maybe it's the very first time they've actually presented. And also remember, please, sometimes we often forget, doing this in a foreign language is often quite difficult as well. So, I would like to present, first of all, number 1, the first startup. First startup to come to the stage is a startup known as Epic Weather. Put your hands together for Epic Weather.
Okay. Hello. I'm Ante from Epic Weather. We're an early stage startup working on weather app with a twist. We're trying to solve what clothes to wear based on current weather conditions. There are thousands of weather apps out there. They're all showing you numbers, charts, and colors, and none of them really shows you how the weather looks like and how it feels like. We want to change that. We created large number of interactive characters that illustrate how the weather looks like and what to wear for specific weather conditions. Character gestures and animations will correlate to the weather, like wind blowing, snow falling, and stuff like that. We're creating an app for all mobile phones and tablets for iOS and Android. We're building it in Unity 3D. The app will support multiple locations and provide all critical weather data. We have an algorithm that's solving what clothes to wear for any specific weather condition. It's always going to be changing. It's always going to be new. There are going to be tons of Easter eggs, and let's face it, it's really cute. 2 billion users, mobile phone users in the world, 2 billion weather apps, so it's a good market for disruption. A few ideas about monetization. We want to provide character customization from choosing sex, skin tones, body shape, hair colors, hairstyles, stuff like that. We also want to provide a marketplace for fun animations and character expressions, also new clothes and all different kinds of accessories. It's also a great platform for product placement. We found out that we can import tons of cool virtual goods, and we want to provide a great marketplace for virtual goods. Just a few notes about our team. We're designers and developers. We worked with startups for a few years now. We created and shipped a few great products, and now we want to create our own. Yeah, I hope you liked it. Thank you.
I'll start. It's beautiful. Congratulations on making
Thanks.
that. And I was just remarking the other day about weather and weather apps and the extent to which people are building new weather apps, because on the one hand you would say it's crazy because everybody has the weather data. There have been 1,000 weather apps. And just the other day I started using Weatherline, I think it's called, which visualizes weather in a different way. And I said, oh wow, these guys took user interface and made that the thing that's going to make weather work in a new way. And even though we've had TV weather for 50 years, the same exact way, no one decided to innovate on it. So I think what you're doing is very clever. The characters are very beautiful. It looks extremely fun. I can totally imagine hooks into it for product placement and yada 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 yada, and making it more social than just numbers. So nice work.
Cool. Thanks. Epic feedback.
I have a quick question for you. Is this thing on? Two questions. So I'm unclear, first of all, what the revenue model is, and I'm unclear, secondly, on what the actual problem is. So maybe if you could clarify those points, that would be useful. Thank you.
Okay, so there are tons of weather apps, but it's really hard to relate to weather. And when you, on a rainy day, when you open a weather app and the character...
It's not hard to relate to weather. It's like, do you have an umbrella or don't you? I mean, it's not hard to relate to weather.
Yeah, maybe that's for you, but if you're younger, then you would like to see a fun character.
Thank you.
That's a really good point, though. Who's the...
Do we want him back? Do we want Mike Butcher back? I think we do. Back.
I think you win the 10,000 for that.
that's a really good point, though. Who's the target market for this app?
Sorry.
Who are you targeting with this app?
Okay, so we want to start with designers and artsy people, and also we'd like to try to target younger market. We still don't know much about it, but we'd like to connect with people that know how to do it.
And I'm going to assume because you didn't mention it, it's not launched yet.
No, we're still building it.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else, Mike? You look like you're
Okay.
threatening to say something here.
It's like you should do. You know what you should do? You should do Tinder for weather. You should do like, I don't like this. You know, I need to be. I want it to be sunny. Swipe right.
Yeah, we actually thought about that because some people really like that clothing combination. So you might be able to swipe it left and right just to decide it's too hot for me, it's too cold for me. So it learns from you.
Okay, that ends our 3 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Epic Weather.
Thank you.
I just love the way that Mike got peed off, walked off, came back, gave him the finger, and then he just, I'm off then. He was going off himself. Okay, moving on now to startup number 2. Startup number 2 goes by the name of Amico. Amico, put your hands together for Amico.
Hello, we are from Amico and we will disrupt the world of loyalty marketing. Loyalty programs, they work better than this here. Shall I throw it on the floor? I think the 3 minutes shouldn't count like this. It doesn't work. Can somebody help me? Where? This way. Oh, come on. Okay, please give me those 50 seconds, yeah? Okay, loyalty programs really work. That's been proven. They really make customers come back more often and make customers spend more. It's a huge and growing market, about 10% every year. But it's one big problem. It's only affordable for the big guys. And we will change that. We will make loyalty marketing easy to use. We'll bring a very sophisticated, cheap platform also for small companies. And how do we do this? By using blockchain technology. Thanks, Mike, for the introduction. Blockchain technology makes Bitcoin so much superior to traditional payment system that it is disrupting the financial world now, and it will disrupt other areas too. It can also be used, for instance, for loyalty marketing. It doesn't mean that people will have to touch Bitcoin. They will just download a free app to collect points and to redeem those points at all the stores of the Amico network, which is quite useful. Because in a standalone classical program, you would have to be quite patient to get a reward. In a so-called coalition program, where you can redeem your points in many places, it's much more fun for the users. So, of course, there are already coalition loyalty programs on the market, but they usually only accept the big companies. They're quite expensive. No one of them is acting globally. We will do that differently. So mostly due to blockchain technology, we can be cheaper, more secure, more transparent, and we will combine the advantage of an individual loyalty program with that of a coalition. We will also offer social networking features. You can see what your friends do and like. You can get rewarded. Amico means friend in Esperanto. Our business model is to keep the entry barrier as low as possible. No setup costs, no monthly fees, and giving out points is free for the store. Only in the moment when a customer walks into your store and redeem points, then you pay a little fee to us, which means you only pay when the model proves to be successful for you. But we see in the long run that real big money will be in targeted advertising. So we will analyze the buying behavior of our members. We will not sell the data, of course, but we will gain insights, and our clients may run very targeted, highly efficient ad campaigns based on those insights. We will start in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and then try out the concept in very different environments, such as Berlin, where I'm from, and Hong Kong, and then roll it out and grow to become the universal currency of loyalty marketing. We're now a team of 3 founders. Rodolfo's busy preparing a launch in Buenos Aires. I'm Aaron from Berlin. This is Ricardo from Milan. We're an international team, and we're happy to take your questions. Thanks.
All right, go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, all right. Well, first off, generally speaking, I like the idea of taking something that only the big companies can do and building it as a platform that every small company can do. And we're investors in a bunch of platforms that do that. So as a general theme, spot on. I have two questions, I guess. Are you planning to be a white label platform that your partners use transparently, or a standalone brand that your customers have to understand?
It will not be white label, but the customers, they do have the feeling that that's their own point. So there will be a customer relationship between the store and the user, but there will also be the brand Amico. So it should be recognizable for the consumer. This is a store where I can redeem my Amico. So it's important to have the brand.
And just regarding the blockchain, there are a bunch of reasons why one might use the blockchain for something like this, to make it tradable, to make it verifiable, to do it in a way that's inexpensive. Which of those do you think is the most important for this application?
I think the transparency is very important, that nobody can cheat. We cannot cheat, the stores can't cheat the users. The security is a big issue, and of course the price. I mean, the Bitcoin transaction itself has a price. That's why we have deep research in it. We probably will work with packed sidechains to get rid of that Bitcoin mining fee. Maybe that's a bit too detailed here, but I mean, there's so much happening in the blockchain world, you might know, so we have to be really aware what's the latest technology to use. Yeah.
Just a real quick marketing question for you. So this is techie, and it's financial, and it's Bitcoin. So it's kind of like a trinity of confusion. And I'm wondering, when you go to market with this, how will you communicate those very complex ideas?
Yeah. We will not talk about blockchain. We will not talk about tech. We will just talk about the benefits for store. We'll just say you can get new customers. It's very easy to use. We will not do all this VC talk that we do now, of course. And we do it. I mean, we've been in Buenos Aires. We've been walking around. We've been talking to normal stores, and they all love the idea. So,
and who's, like, just really quickly, kind of a quick broad strokes of who your ideal customers are?
The ideal customer is, the customer we focus on. It's like, this sushi place at the corner, the pizzeria. I mean, of course, we would not send, a big chain home, which we see. If we can do this for the small company, it will also work for the big supermarket. So we do hope that they will later come to us and see, okay, you do this so much cheaper, and we want to say, why can't you do this for us, for the big, whatever, petrol stations or so. But first, we focus on that, like mom and pop business, not big change, really small business, and try to do it right for them.
How will you acquire your first 50 small businesses?
Pardon?
How will you acquire your first 50 businesses?
We first do it in one neighborhood in Buenos Aires, in San Isidro. That's where Rodolfo lives. And we try to have a very high density. So every store in San Isidro, suburbs, will see, oh, it's big. Everybody has it. I want to have it too. Then Buenos Aires. Okay, that was the first 50 already. I answered your question. I mean, personal walk first, because that's where you learn first. Then, of course, in the long run, we want people to download the app and all that. But first, it's really like
that ends. I'm sorry, that ends our 3 minutes question and answer. Put your hands together for Amico.
Thanks for the question.
Everybody is pitching like you should keep your answers quite short. So what actually happens is that a judge asks a question, and then you go on for like 3 minutes. Pointless. You do it very, very quickly, and then and then you get another question out of a judge, right? So that's just a little tip.
Okay, right, we move on now to pitch number three. You've seen first and second. You can see the kind of standard we've got here. Third pitch is a startup known as Spotty. Put your hands together for Spotty.
Hi everyone, my name is Marian and I'm co-founder of Spotty. Both co-founder and I are from Dubrovnik, also known as King's Landing from Game of Thrones. We have IT background, but more than 10 years we are in a rental business. There is a serious problem of paying booking fees, and we and our families are spending more than 10,000 euros every year. So we made a solution. We created a mobile platform where hosts can rent their space directly with the guests. So it's completely service fee and free, and it allows you to create a direct contact. The market is huge, and what's interesting is that there is 25% of the travelers who are directly booking their spaces. Our concept is really simple. We found out that more than 90% of the travelers are deciding which apartment to book on the decision of the 5 photos, lowest price and free Wi-Fi. So that's why we made a really simple product. You search for the city, find the listings and connect with the guests, with the rentals directly. For now, in 2 months, we have more than 1,300 hosts with more than 800K views. Our business model is pretty simple. If you pay $0.99, you jump on the top of the search results. 50% of our users are using that on a monthly basis. And if we reach our golden goal of 1 million users, it would provide 1.8 million a year. We are already thinking, Mike, do you know how to fix this? Can I try? Oh. We are already thinking to implementing the excursions and trips to the same model. Our competitors are pretty big players with huge numbers, but our disruption model will help us to beat the market. Thank you.
All right, I'll go first again. This also ties into a theme, which I think is a big theme, which is that clearly what you're doing is terrifying because you're a tiny company going up against giants on the internet. Your advantage is being small and being thin, and their disadvantage is having raised boatloads of money and having to turn that back to investors and having thick margins. And so the idea of trying to disrupt with like low take rates or no take rate and a different fee model, I think is a really interesting one. How are you going to bootstrap the other side of the marketplace, the buyer side?
What's happening to all other industries like gaming industry or application industry, in the beginning they were all payable, and then the model went free to pay to the additional services. All other services are lowered their booking fees, and at a certain point they will cancel them. So for now we didn't invest any money in marketing. We just did a few local PRs and guests started talking about it. We also did a few hacks, found a certain amount of email addresses, like 40,000, from the open websites like tourist boards or...
So 15% of users go back? 15?
No, 15% of users are paying for Jump to Top feature.
15% of users are paying?
Yeah.
Right, so where is it launched right now? In Split, Croatia? Where is it?
Sorry?
Where is it launched?
In Dubrovnik.
In Dubrovnik?
Yep.
So people in Dubrovnik know about it?
The people are all around from Croatia, and some of the hosts are from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro and Serbia.
Is it in English?
Yes, it is in English.
Why are you not launching it? Why did you not email me? Like launch it on TechCrunch or something? Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why don't you launch it on a big platform, like get some traction on an international scale?
Well, I came here to get an opportunity.
Right. Okay. Email me.
Okay.
You got my email address, right?
Thanks. Is that it? Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, put your hands together for Spotty. Ready for number 4? Yes, you are. Okay, number 4, fourth startup. Startup by the name of My Beeline. Put your hands together for My Beeline.
Hello everyone, my name is Zoran, and I will now explain you why My Beeline is best friend of modern beekeeper. Albert Einstein once said that if the bees disappeared on the surface of the globe, man would only have 4 years to live. Well, that might be true or not, but one thing is sure. Bees are one of the main elements of our ecosystem, as they are main pollinators of up to 80% of known plant species. Just imagine how would our store shelves look like without bees. My friends, my family often told me how beekeeping is not so predictable, it's dynamic, stressful. Everything is just fine until your hives are healthy, of course. But when your single hive gets infected, you have to get rid of all of your apiary. Just imagine how stressful it is to set on fire several years of work. Just imagine how would you feel to have to set your startup on fire. Second biggest problem by this disease is swarming. When a beehive becomes overcrowded, bees just go away, taking away your money, your yield, and themselves. For the first phase, we are targeting European market with more than 730,000 beekeepers. We, at the moment, are using a regional market for customer development approach and maintaining our visibility as we do the development. We have 54 pending testers and 6 active alpha testers. Our solution is consisting of web application, mobile application, and pluggable hardware devices. We have a system that can manage and process your collected data and inform you about possible diseases and possible swarmings. We will offer MyBeeline in a software as a service model, where paid users will have some advanced features and no limitations. As in every other startup, we do have competition, but some of them aren't even active anymore. Some of them doesn't use hardware devices. But every one of them ignore the fact that beekeeper is not for himself. He has to communicate with other beekeepers, with his neighborhood beekeepers. As a beekeeper, I want to know if my neighbor got infected hive. At the moment, I don't have a possibility to know that information. I want to see where hives around me are placed. MyBeeline is not just a software. MyBeeline is a team of young and ambitious people that are going to make change in this field. Thank you for your attention.
So I love bees. I'm like so happy someone is going to help us save the bees. My question, you talked about competitors. What are people using now? Like, is it that the competitors aren't getting to the beekeepers, or that what's going on with the competitors?
At the moment, there is no number one tool for beekeeping. I don't know why. I believe that different beekeeping approaches, different workflows are the main problem. There are some solutions with hardware devices, digital scales. There are some just data management applications, but at the moment, the digital scales are top of using hardware in beekeeping as on the, let's say, professional level. I believe that there are users, they claim to have much users, but there is no number one tool.
Yeah. And other question, how do you, are beekeepers looking for software to solve this problem? Like, are beekeepers seeking out a software? How confident are you that they would engage with a CRM, like a a bee management system, a BRM, you know?
Okay, so I will put this that way. We didn't do any marketing. We just had one article about one competition, and people reached us. When will your application be available?
It's a BRM. It's a BRM.
Yes, of course. It's a
CRM, BRM.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
BRM. So they reached us. We believe that there is a need for a software, but software tailored for them, not just generic.
What I'm getting at is, what's the average age of beekeepers? Like, have you kind of done a profile of them, and are they using, maybe there's a reason the other competitors aren't able to acquire more beekeepers. So.
Well, there are different types of beekeepers, professional hobbyists, etc. I believe that they have some problems with approach. So we intend to go and make software according to their needs. So we believe that we can acquire them in that approach.
One thing that I'm going to talk about later, or that I think is happening, is the long tail of industry is getting online and getting networked, and you don't get much longer in the long tail than the beekeeping industry. And it's amazing that there are 5 different competitors already building SaaS products for beekeepers. It makes sense to me that there's a collaborative nature to being a beekeeper, and that you have to coordinate with other beekeepers, and you're thinking about the whole ecosystem. So the piece that I liked about what you're doing, and maybe one area where it stands out, is that you're not just a SaaS product or a BRM, but you're a network, and that there's value in the whole network to join on. So if that's really true, that sounds like a pretty interesting angle to me.
Thank you.
Real quick, so what is your story? What is your backstory? Do you come from a long line of beekeepers?
Okay, I have my family members are beekeepers, not the closest one, but I have a lot of friends in beekeeping. One of our co-founders is beekeeper that approached us, so you are a programmer, you can help me solve this. We then do some research and see that it's a global problem, not just local. It's a global problem, and there are look for solution. And the solution is not found yet.
And that's our 3 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Beeline. Okay, moving on to startup number 5. Startup number 5, and they go by the name of Cab Up. Put your hands together for Cab Up.
Hi, I'm Anna, and I'm really glad to show you our app called Cab Up. Now, Cab Up solves these problems for you. We asked ourselves the same set of questions when we were on a trip to Sarajevo. Our group got split into 2 cabs, and even though we took the same taxi company and took the same route, both groups were charged differently. Now, Cab Up will solve your problems and answer to all of these questions. So just on one place, you have all relevant infos about all taxi services that are legal, that are safe, and that are available to you. Now, we collect our data from official websites and via direct communication with taxi companies, but we also give you some little extra info, and that is feedback from other users. Now, one of the best things about Cab Up is that it will be available in these 12 countries. You don't need to download any special app for each country separately. You just type your address in and we show you all local taxi companies. Later on, we plan to implement bidding system in process of ordering a cab, enable business accounts to companies, and give every taxi company a possibility of creating their own loyalty programs. Now our revenues come from fees that we charge for every in-app transaction, for every transaction via business accounts, but you as our end user, Cab Up, will always be free. In our latest phases, we plan to offer and of course charge various BI reports. In the process of exploring our market, we found great numbers of smaller taxi companies that don't have a websites, app, and they don't even have true dispatch systems. So we decided to expand our service and give them IT services specialized for improving their business, increasing their revenue, and all of that, of course, on a reasonable price. So finally, when you download Cab Up, you help us in achieving our final goal, and that is building a transparent, safe, and trustworthy taxi market across SE Europe. So please give us your feedback because it really, really matters.
So, you know what it's really good when you're a judge on these things is you see a product. So we saw a product and we saw interface, and that's super cool. So thank you. It was a really good presentation. Actually, one of the things I really liked about what you're doing is that you listened to your market and you thought, you got feedback from the market and then you iterated as you were going. So I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
So here's a question, right? So you're taking a percentage of revenues, or what's the model again?
The fees percentage for every in-app transaction from taxi companies.
Right.
And because there are users that sometimes don't have a wallet, so they want to pay.
Is the user, me as a user, do I get like ratings on whether this firm is good, or is it like a Yelp or whatever, or TripAdvisor for cabs?
In a sort of a way, every user after every ride can evaluate the taxi company by several criteria. Was the driver good? Was the vehicle good? Was the price okay?
So I think this is really cool, like especially in emerging markets. Basically, you get to rate the firm, you get to rate even can you rate the driver?
What can I?
Is the driver get a rating as well?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. I can rate the driver.
Okay, so this is a really competitive market with some big players, not just Uber, but taxi apps that do dispatch all over Europe, all over Asia. One of the things that we've learned about this market is that it's very expensive to enter a new territory. Not just because, but one of the reasons is that oftentimes you're subsidizing rides either to get riders or drivers onto the platform, and it can be like very, very expensive to do that. How are you thinking about playing that game and entering this competitive landscape and bootstrapping both sides of your marketplace, I would imagine, without a super high cost model?
Currently we are planning to expand in phases on countries. Firstly, of course, we explore our market. We communicate with taxi companies, and after we get all data, we go country by country. Firstly, Kebab will be available in Croatia and Slovenia, and we will slowly expand our market. And there comes the cost from marketing, but we plan to gather that along the way. Okay, thanks.
Okay, cab up. Moving on, so our next startup very simply goes by the name of Easy. Easy, put your hands together for Easy.
Hello everyone. 2 billion people are using smileys in the world every day. Just like this. It seems it doesn't work. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Oh, a menu, sub-menu, hidden menu. Isn't it confusing? But now, you can do it also like this.
Hold it like that.
I like it. Isn't it? I am Marin, and we are Easy. What about money? Well, we do like money, but we don't like ads. We think they are too intrusive and too repellent. So how are we going to earn? We'll have two revenues, business to consumer and the business to business. Business to consumer will rely on familiar freemium model, which means we will offer our users opportunity to identify with their favorite sport clubs or movies or musicians. In business to business, we will run a branding model, which means we will offer free branded skins, which will at the same time promote a certain brand, but will also look appealing, just like this. Why do we think that this is great? Well, first of all, it's fun. Also, it makes emojis so easy and so natural. And last but not least, it saves time. It can save up to 50% of your time if you are texting with a lot of emojis. We'd like to think of it as a new way of communication, not just another keyboard. And finally, it is not just about this application. Easy is a texting solutions company, which is developing many new products, such as new revolutionary smartwatch texting system, which is in the final stage of development. What about our team? Well, we have picked up the best. Thank you for your attention, and remember, keep smiling.
You did a great job on your presentation, by the way. That was very engaging and very fun and entertaining. Tell me how this is a new form of communication. Can you kind of talk me through kind of the purpose of this?
Well, we've been thinking that picking up emoji is not the best way. It's like a PC way. It's not a mobile way. You just do click, 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 click. And this way, you do it with a natural move, which really is like a real smile or a sad face or whatever.
Yeah, great presentation. You had me at Easy. Yeah. Swiping keyboards haven't really taken hold. The keyboard market is kind of fragmented, and and I've tried all of them, and none of them has stuck. But so I'm intrigued by the idea that emojis are the thing that will make swiping work. So I think that's actually an interesting beachhead. And then the question of where you go from there is open. Some of the branded screens make me cringe a little bit, but regardless, I think if the emojis is the sort of, thin edge of the wedge, and that there are really other ways that you could make typing on a mobile phone easier, and I don't even know what those ways are. I think we all spend all our days on our phone, and anything to make it easier would make us smile.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to know the story. Did you get really mad typing out an emoji one day?
Yes, actually, yes. It's so confusing. And which menu I am? Sub-menu, hidden menu. What should I do now? Yeah.
So it
it's
really
a bit
comes
frustrating.
from your pain of emojis.
Yeah. And then you realize it's so simple, really. Just do it like this.
I think the video is lovely, but I just don't get it. And it's like, why? What's the point? I mean, how many emojis can I do? Okay, I'm going to smile, frown. What is this? I don't know.
20
boobs.
emojis.
I don't know.
20
What?
emojis.
Penis. I don't know. Dickhead. I don't know what. How many? Like, I don't know. How many times can you do this?
Could we see a show of hands of who hates making emojis? I'm just curious.
Who hates what?
Who hates typing emojis in the audience? You don't use... No, you would... Seriously, you would buy an app for... Okay, I'm just trying to scare you, but there was a good amount of hands that hate emojis. I've never experienced the pain of hating emojis.
This is what I'm trying to say. It's like, I don't have to... There's no pain here. I have a smorgasbord of beautiful emoticons that I could... and GIFs that I can send to people.
It's possible you've never experienced the joy
That's
of
true.
making easy emojis.
I have to agree. I love your pitch, never change. Do you use a lot of emojis?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, you don't seem like the type of man. I'm just confused because the story. You don't seem like an emoji kind of guy, and you're like angry about emojis.
It's like do you use a lot of emojis? Are you emotional? Yes. Do you want to do smiles all the time? Yes, make smile.
But not emojis, all the symbols. So you got the shortcuts for everything on the sub-menu.
Got it.
Smile.
All right.
And smile is the
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Easy. What an interesting bunch of startups. We've had weather, we've had finance, we've had bees, we've had cabs and smiley faces. So an interesting bunch. The first 6 there gone through. We have another 18 to go, another 6 this afternoon and another 12 tomorrow. Okay, just before going any further, again, one of the great things about this conference is the social aspect. Now, some of you maybe joined us yesterday evening for our first party. Who would like to join us for tonight's party? So you need a smiley face there, I think. Okay. Tonight at 9 o'clock at Moonbar. Now, if you're from Split, you probably know where Moonbar is that right? Who's from Split? Hands up, Split. Okay, if you're not from Split, all you got to do is make friends with someone who just had their hands up, okay? And they will show you where it is. Also, I believe it's on the website as well. So again, one of the great things about this conference and many other conferences as well is the social aspect. We're in front of our screens all the time. This is a chance to get out, enjoy yourselves, and network and meet other people. Okay, we will now go for lunch. We will have 1 hour for lunch, so we'll be back here at 2 o'clock. Once again, a big round of applause for our jury. Andrea, Amy, Nick.